Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with coffee time number 50 at Wocky Pots Studio. It is Monday, December 2nd as we film this, and I know we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but Diana, break it down. What are we going to talk about this week?
Alrighty, well, to start us off, we're going to recap all of last week because we had the market to get ready for, and in order to do that, we had to have a glaze load fully done, and that meant we had this day that lasted from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
That's a lot of glazing in one day.
Of nothing but glazing, but we managed to do it, and we filled the kiln, I think, to...
It's the
Yes.
fullest glaze load we've ever done in the kiln.
Yes, and we did film a kiln unload of that on, was it Friday
Friday. So
evening?
if you haven't seen it yet, take a peek at that.
You can see some of the things that came, well, you can see all of the things that came out, some of which we still have, but most of which we do not have.
Yep.
So that was a big thing for us. And then, of course, we had some downtime because we had our Thanksgiving.
Right. So I hope your Thanksgiving was fantastic. If it was half as great as ours, you had a really good Thanksgiving.
Yes. And we know not everyone was having that Thanksgiving at the time. We were having Thanksgiving because we're here in the United States.
Right.
So other places have Thanksgivings at different times, if they do observe it. But I know some of you were wondering, well, which pies did they end up with? We knew for sure we were going to do the peanut butter pie.
Right, the peanut butter pie was, as always, a success.
It really was. And I know Audrey had said that, I've never heard of that. So I sent her the instructions for how to make a peanut butter pie. So.
And a peanut butter pie is nothing fancy. It's just a memory of mine from my childhood.
Yeah.
My mom used to make the peanut butter pies for holidays, and it was always fun.
Simple but delicious, and that's kind of my philosophy. I like that.
Right.
But our other pie, because we had two pies, our other pie ended up being an apple pie.
Right, and we had that with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and I don't think there's much better than that.
Yes, nice warm pie with ice cream melted.
It was delicious.
It was yummy. I could have Thanksgiving every day.
I could probably not. It was a lot.
But then, of course, the major thing from last week was our highlight and our challenge.
Right, so our highlight and our challenge are both the Chincoteague Island Farmers and Artisans Holly Market.
Yes.
That was the last market of the season at that location, and it is both a highlight and a challenge.
Yes, and the reason it's a highlight, it was fun for sure.
We had a blast.
It was our biggest sales day of the year.
Right. We
were blown away.
We have never sold so much pottery in a single day as we did that day.
So that was a really, really good highlight for us and a great way to end the year on, because that is our last show.
Right. We're all done now.
We are.
With scheduled shows until springtime.
Yes. And then, of course, the reason that it was a challenge is because it is the last show.
And it's going to be tough, and we've talked about this. Yes. It's going to be tough to maintain our focus and our commitment to being here in the studio making pottery without such an immediate deadline. So we're going to have to work hard at that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The market had always been, or the next show had been. In this case, it was the Holly Market. Oh, we must get ready. So we just kept working backwards from those events. And
we always had something happening within a couple days. It was always with a couple days from now, always. Now our next event is months from now.
Yes. So we kind of have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to make sure we are meeting our goals. So, of course, I've put up the goal for December because we've reached December, and look, there's you and me.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Am I the candy cane or the Christmas tree?
I don't know which one you want
I
to be.
want to be the candy cane.
Okay. But if we fill in both of those, it'll be 150 items. I didn't go overboard because after all, it's December and it's holiday month.
Half
really.
the month is holiday. Right?
And for so much of our time with the market, one of the challenges with the market was we lived, we breathed, we ate, we slept, market. Mm-hmm. We did not really experience the summer season like we normally would.
We didn't do the touristy kind of thing.
Yes.
When we were teachers, we always looked forward to summer vacation, summer break, when our teaching responsibilities were far lessened, if not completely gone, and we were able to just enjoy the area and the tourist attractions, go to the boardwalk, hit the ocean, that kind of stuff. And we never really took the time to do that this summer. We were busy the entire summer.
Yeah. So this month I want to make sure we actually can enjoy the Christmas holiday season. So I want us to have enough time in our schedule that we can do one thing holiday themed each week of December. So for example, this week we're going to see the train display.
Right. Model trains. Can't wait to see those.
Yes, so that'll be fun. I'll try to make sure I take some pictures so you guys can see them too, because they're always fabulous, and it's amazing the amount of detail and work that the folks who have the train club put into that. So that'll be fun. But it was good last week.
It was.
It really was.
We had a fantastic time, and it was cold that morning.
Oh my goodness, we had so many layers on.
Saturday morning on our way to the market, the thermometer on my truck was reading 25 degrees on Fahrenheit on the way to the market.
Yes.
That's pretty chilly.
I don't think it ever rose above 33, and we were outside from 7 o'clock till 1:30.
About 1:30 is when we were finally finished.
Yes,
so it was quite a chilly day, but we made it. We made it through.
We made it, and we eventually thawed out later that night.
Yep, and we've got a couple of things to talk about the show. Some leftovers and some holdovers and some things to discuss. What do you want to talk about next?
Sure, let's go ahead and talk about those.
So what you see in front of you are some of the survivors from our appearance on Saturday, and believe me when I say we brought home far fewer pieces than we took. A lot of our pieces went that day. We sold over 100 items on Saturday, and it was a big day for us. Now, as far as the stuff over here in front of me, one of these things is not new, but I wanted to mention it anyway.
Right.
This was a bowl that I had done quite some time ago, and I was not real happy with the glaze, and I had said we were going to refire it and put another layer of yellow glaze on the inside. We did. And now I am quite happy with this. It looks fantastic, and I love it. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. It did not sell at the market. That's okay. We did have some things that didn't sell, but I still love this, and I'm glad that it made it through the refire.
I think I heard you say something about that's the perfect ice cream bowl.
That is the perfect size for ice cream, I think.
It may go into the house.
Yep.
You know, a lot of these things that are sitting on this table may
end up in the house. So we're making a pot of chili today, and who knows, maybe I'll take my covered soup bowl in. This is one of the 2 covered soup bowls that I did. Diana glazed this to look like the Northern Lights. That's her Northern Lights glaze motif. And this covered soup bowl did not sell, but the other one that I made did sell. A couple of other holdouts. I did this one. This was not in the last kiln load, but the one before that. But it's notable just because it's such a huge mug. And for me, the perfect wintertime beverage would be that much coffee and that much hot chocolate. And then that would be the perfect wintertime beverage.
How would you drink all of that?
Slowly would be how I would drink all that. And then another. This just came out of the last kiln load. It is a very nice mug, and I really like the drips from it. It's that Sheltoy Brown, and it turned out really, really well. This is another survivor. Did not sell at the market. Diana had, and I threw that on the wheel. Diana has a handmade soup bowl with a handle.
Yes, and in fact, this is going to be a tutorial that'll be coming out soon. I've filmed the part of the glazing, and I just have some more pieces of it to throw together, and then we'll put that out so that you guys can make one too.
Right, so if you want to know how to make this soup mug, Diana will definitely be showing you that. And then we've got a couple of other things over here
Yes.
on Diana's side. I'll let you talk about those things.
Alrighty then. Well, we have this divided tray, and I'm actually glad that this stayed because this is going into the house.
We're going to use that sucker.
We're using that for cheese and crackers and pepperoni and whatever else we so choose to put on it. But
Our
it'll be great.
charcuterie tray.
Yes. Or as Annie said, the little nibbly bits.
Nibbly bits.
Yes.
That's a great thing. I will say it took up half a kiln shelf. So
Yes. So I can't wait to take it in.
It was not expensive in the materials, but it was quite expensive in that we had to use up half a kiln shelf to fire.
And then we have one of our chicken mugs here.
That's one of the two that Diana made. The other one didn't survive, but not because it didn't sell at the market.
It's still here, guys, in the studio.
In 1,000 pieces, and that's my fault.
It's okay.
So I was sanding the bottoms, and this is only about the third thing I think that I've broken. But I dropped it. It slipped right out of my hands and shattered into a million pieces on the floor, and I cried. It was so upsetting to me.
But it didn't bother me in the least.
Right. Well, I was
I'll just
I was
make
upset.
More.
So this survived, and somehow nobody bought it at the market.
The bee one went, though. That was right next to it, and so many other mugs went that I'm not worried about that. And then my sweater mugs, I only have a couple of the sweater mugs left. And this one is the one that is Smoky Merlot on it from Amico. And of course, I've got the little sweater texture, the little cable. And it was really funny because there was a couple that walked up, an older couple, and she looked at her husband and she says, "Look, hon." And she pointed to the bottom of his sweater, and it was a perfect match.
The same cable pattern.
It was a perfect match for the mug. So that was funny. But it was a great time.
And we also have to mention these two ornaments we have.
Oh,
now,
yes.
the reason I'm mentioning these ornaments it's pretty simple. These two ornaments are the only ornaments that we did not sell at the market.
Yes.
We sold 50 ornaments at the market, you guys. 53 ornaments at the market, you guys. So they were a huge seller. Next year, we're going to make sure we have a couple hundred with us for the Holly Market. But they were a huge seller Saturday.
Yes. So now we do have a question that's been asked of us this week, and
Okay.
I thought you could answer this one.
Sure.
Lila asked us, how do you get a smooth lip on a coffee mug so that it's comfortable to drink from?
And that's actually a challenge because if it's too sharp, you don't like it doesn't have a good feel to it. And I guess this giant cup is a good example of a good lip for drinking. Now, what I do on the wheel is, as it's going around, just before I take it off the wheel, I run a material over the top. I just hold it and spin the piece. And I used to use chamois cloth. This is just a piece of artificial purple chamois cloth from the automotive section of Walmart.
Right.
This is what you would normally use to dry your car off with. And I got a huge sheet of this, but I only use a small one on the wheel. And I'll just get that wet and hold it over the rim as the cup is spinning under it, and that smooths the rim out. But lately, I've been using this sponge that Diana got me from Diamond Core Tools, and I like using this sponge a lot. It's very soft and smooth. It's a finishing sponge.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll just hold it over like this, so it's folded over like a little taco, and then as the cup is going around the wheel, I just hold that against the rim, and that smooths out the edge and gives me a nice finished edge. So these are the tools that I use. And I think Diana uses a regular finishing sponge on her hand belt.
I do. Sometimes, though, I honestly just use my fingers. And it's just, I take and I pinch my fingers together and I hold and I go around. And I'm just making sure that the outside edge gets pushed in and the inside edge gets pushed out. And then I'll just take and go around the top with my finger like that. It's one of those things, you find what works for you. I do sometimes still use the sponge. It just depends. I do find that the white mud tool sponge doesn't bring the grog out in my clay like some other sponges do. And I think that's why originally I got into the habit of just using my fingers. Because, if you bring the grog to the surface, the little coarse bits, that's not going to be pleasant to your mouth.
Right, it's
either.
very rough, and that's a thing that it also depends on the clay you're working with, because if I'm throwing with Sheltoe Brown, you don't have to worry about grog because it doesn't have any grog in it. But if you're working with standard 112 or standard 225, something that does have palpable grog, then you want to avoid very coarse sponges that will pull the grog out and make it rougher than it would be otherwise.
Now, I did read somewhere also, this is a great thing, especially if, you don't want to go buy tools or things, extra to have. You're just making 1 or 2 mugs for a gift or something. And the person was saying that they simply use newspaper. They fold that newspaper up, sort of like, we used to do as kids, would make it into a fan ourselves, They fold it up like that, and then they cut a strip, and they put that down over the edge, and it has that same effect.
I'd have to see that in action.
Yes.
I guess, it would.
Because it's just going to compress and round, so why not,
Yep.
But that's a great question, and it is something that maybe a lot of people don't think about, but potters sure do.
Right. In fact, combined with sanding the bottom, I would say one definite distinction between somebody who just started doing this and somebody who's been doing it for a while is how comfortable the lip is when you put it up to your mouth and how smooth the bottom is. So go for those smooth bottoms and go for a comfortable rim, or any place where your hand is actually in contact. For example, you want your handles to feel good in your hand while you're holding it.
Right.
So concentrate on those kind of things, and you're definitely going to be improving and getting better.
Yes. So thanks a lot, Lila, for asking, and we hope that our answers help. You can always let us know, guys, if you have other tips or suggestions for folks who, like Lila, are wondering about having a nice smooth rim, because everybody does things a little bit differently.
And the more you know, the more tools you have for solving other problems later on.
Yes. So, alrighty, let's move on to this week.
Okay, so we got lots of stuff happening this week. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm going to start right off the bat.
Okay.
I'm not making any pottery this week, although I might make some pottery.
Yes,
but
he has a reason.
My big reason for that is I still have that old kick wheel sitting outside in front of the studio. And I've got to get that finished and in the studio so we can use that as another wheel and I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't want it to stay outside all winter long for sure. I want to finish it, get it in here, and then get using it. So I'm not going to make any more pottery until that's finished. Now, I can probably do that in one single day. I can probably get it the rust removed the rest of the way, wipe it down, and then paint it with the rust treatment stuff, and then either leave it like that or give it a clear coat of varnish right here in the studio.
Gotcha.
It won't take me that long, but I need to actually do that.
Right.
So how about you? What do you got coming?
Well, I've been working on the different criteria I have for making a panda planner. Not a panda planner. I use a panda planner every day to plan it. A pottery planner.
Right. So there's a company called Panda that makes a planner, the Panda Planner.
And that's what I write in faithfully every day of life. But I wanted something specific to pottery, something that I could separate from the rest of all the things, that everyone else has, and something that I could focus just here for the studio. And so I've got all my little bits of information that I would want to have in a planner. So now I'm going to be working on designs for the planner. So yes,
that'll be fun.
That's one of the things I'm going to be working on.
How about here in the studio? I know I said I don't plan on making very much this week. How about you?
Yes. Well, I want to try making some paper towel holders. I've been seeing a lot of paper towel holders, and they're really cool because it's kind of like a crock, but it has a section cut out of it and then another center section, sort of like how the magic salt and pepper shakers are done, except the whole top is open. But with it being ceramic, then it's a heavy piece, and so the paper towels stay, and you can pull it off and tear. So just something different,
Right.
because I did have that goal to make 10 new things. So that's one of my 10 new things that I'm going to do. And then the other thing I want to do, we had a lady at the market on Saturday talking about soy sauce dishes.
Right,
If I
little
can get the round-
shallow round dishes
Yes.
for soy sauce, right?
Yes. Now, I will say, when we've been to the Chinese restaurant here in town, their soy sauce dishes are square.
Right.
And I was thinking,
It's more about the size, I think, than the
yes.
shape. It can
So
be any shape.
I might do square ones.
You do some square ones, and I'll do some round ones
That's
on the
right.
wheel, and
That's
we'll
right.
have 100 of them before you know it.
That's right. I thought it would be fun to do. So, and plus, they can also be things that, you use in food prep. So, like, I know the little round one I have inside the house, I put my 3 tablespoons of flour to make my roux the other day.
Use it for
And
a ramekin, right?
So just to hold.
Right, little small
food prep.
containers.
Yes. So anyway, I was thinking about doing that type of thing. But I also have something else I'm going to be doing.
I'll show pictures of this so you'll see.
Yes. So a few weeks back, I ordered these Holiday Village pop-out cookie cutters. And this is from the King Author company. And you can find branches of them all over the place. But I think the nearest one to us is in Fairfax, Virginia. And so this is great. So you get the shape and then an imprint. And so I can't wait to try these.
The cutters are 2 pieces.
Yes.
One is the outline of the cookie, and then the other one is the imprint. And for us doing clay, what that means is we'll be able to cut out the shapes and put an impression in the shapes and make some really awesome ornaments and stuff.
And the thing about them is, my snowflake ones came from King Author also. So I've gotten some nice things from them through the years, but generally they were things for in the house to use in the house. And now I'm finding things that I want to use in the studio with clay.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to doing those. And of course, if they turn out well, then they'll be added to our ornaments for next Christmas.
Next year, we will have a crate of hundreds of ornaments already before the market began. I have an idea that if we had taken 1,000 ornaments on Saturday, we would have sold 1,000 ornaments.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. A lot of times, when I hand build something, I have strips of clay left over. I go ahead and I make ornaments with that leftover bit, or I shape the owls and the cardinals, frogs, and that type of thing, so that I try to use up every bit of my scraps so that we don't end up with too much to reclaim.
And I guess that's a big thing for us going into the next year. We just need to stockpile lots of our most popular items so that we don't have to rush around like we did this past season. Don't get me wrong, this past season was fantastic and a lot of fun, but I think that we're going to be able to make more this winter than we did last winter, and that's going to do nothing but set us ahead when the market actually opens.
Right. So, but as far as that goes, I think that's probably it with what's going to be made this coming week. We said we're going to go see the trains, and then after we're done here, we're going to be going out to the bowling alley to bowl a couple of games with Christopher. And so that, just some fun family time. We have to make sure we put that in. And, because that, is very much part of my December goal, is to find that work, home, family balance.
Right.
So.
Well, I think it's going to be a great rest of the day. We still have about half the day left. So we're in pretty good shape.
Yes.
Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I'm sure there was, but if there is, maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Well, let me sneak this in real quick. It won't be too long, another couple weeks before we will be opening our online store. So do pay attention to that and look out for that. We have yet to decide on a platform, but we do have enough pieces left over where we can stock an online store pretty soon and start making some of our pieces available for shipping out to you guys. So that's a thing to look for. Not within the next couple of days, but definitely within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thanks so much for watching. We do appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and also the upcoming Christmas festivities. I hope they are bright and cheerful for you. But for now, toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.